Greetings and salutations. My name is Colin Moriarty. I'm editor of IGN PlayStation. I'm here with Andrew Goldfarb. He's our news editor, newly promoted news editor here at IGN. We're in the Hyrule room here at IGN, which makes no sense.
PlayStation headquarters.
Which makes no sense because we're about to talk about PlayStation 4, but nonetheless, let's just set the stage real quick, Goldfarb, before we get into things. We want to kind of go over a trio of rumors that have leaked about PlayStation 4 since we found out on Thursday that there will be an event in New York City to reveal, we assume, the PlayStation 4. Right. And just to set the stage for you even further, IGN will be at that event. We were invited, so I'll be there. Greg Miller will be there. Our tech guy Scott Lowe will be there. We'll have some videos and all sorts of content from the still mysterious show in New York City. But Goldfarb, you posted an interesting story on Friday about a trio of rumors, like I said, that are breaking about PlayStation 4. And the first one comes by way of Wall Street Journal, indicating that this is indeed the PlayStation 4 reveal and that it will be out by the end of the year.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about that rumor.
So they say they have confirmation that this is absolutely, they have a source that has told them, yes, that is what's being announced, which I think is like, I mean, like Greg keeps saying, like, yeah, obviously. Like, I don't think that's surprising news to anybody. But I mean, still, you know, a reputable publication, good to hear that it's confirmed. That's nice. You know, that's a little bit of, you know, certainty in uncertain times.
Right. Well, these are uncertain times indeed with the PlayStation 4. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put past Sony to have everyone in New York City and then do something totally ridiculous because, I mean, they did waste like a half an hour of everyone's time on Wonderbook at E3. But
and your joke, you keep joking about Wonderbook DLC, but it's like 10% joke.
Yeah, there's a little bit of seriousness there. I'm like 100% certain that this has to be the next gen stuff. What we see, of course, of PlayStation 4 when we're in New York City remains to be seen. Will we see games? We probably won't get hands-on time with it. But maybe we will see something that brings us to the next rumor, which is the controller. Right. And what have we been hearing about the PlayStation 4's DualShock controller?
So this is coming from Edge. And this ties into a rumor. So I guess to back up, we heard a rumor about 2 weeks ago that the DualShock was going to be redesigned. That you're not going to see the standard, you know, obviously they did 6-axis, but it was basically still the DualShock, just didn't have vibrate in it. Like that this time form factor will be different, like truly different. Hopefully not the boomerang or anything. But the word then was that one of the buttons, physical buttons on the controller, is a share button, and that share button, you know, at the time we didn't know what it would do. This new rumor is saying that it would capture 15 minutes of gameplay at any time. The PS4.
The last 15 minutes that you played.
The most recent 15 minutes, exactly. And at any time you can directly upload that, whether it's screenshots from it, video. Presumably you could edit it down to be whatever you wanted, but you could share that directly through the PS4. And in terms of the physical controller itself, now word is that there will be, like where the start and select buttons are on the DualShock, that will actually be a touchscreen, not like the front of the Vita, but like the back of the Vita.
It's like a touchpad.
Touchpad, exactly. Which I misunderstood. You know, I wrote it correctly, but when I was talking about it afterwards, I misunderstood that. But yeah, I mean, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Like it would just be sort of like the X's and O's, like on the back of the Vita, just right there.
It's a little strange, but
I don't know what that accomplishes per se.
I don't either. It just makes the controller more expensive. But again, this is just a rumor, and as a PlayStation fan myself, who's appreciated the DualShock since it came out in the late '90s. I hope they don't change anything. Yeah. Except for maybe, I know that the contour of the triggers bothers people a little bit, so I'm sure there'll be some refinements. But if I was a betting man, and I am a betting man, Goldfarb, I'd say the DualShock controller, the DualShock 3 will look 90% like the DualShock 4.
Ooh, see, I feel like I would take that bet. Because I honestly think, I can see them, in nothing like completely crazy and major, but I do think like all the little stuff they'll fix. I don't think it'll be, you know, the convex concave thing that drives everybody crazy with the triggers, I think they'll fix. I think, maybe even the offset analog sticks could happen rather than them being parallel.
Right. I'm just so used to it now.
Yeah, I am too, and I actually really like the DualShock. It feels like an old glove. You know, it's like coming back, having your old glove.
Yeah, you got it when you find that old glove in the drawer and you just put it on.
Weird metaphor, but you know, it's like very comforting sitting down with the DualShock. But I think Sony, if they don't go totally crazy, like the boomerang I mentioned earlier was the preliminary prototype concept for the PS3 controller.
What an awful thing
like
was.
Don't do that. But I mean, if it's like if they're reinventing certain parts of it to make it more like in response to what people have complained about, I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree. The final rumor that we'll at least go over here in this video is about when the PlayStation 4 will actually be released. And again, Edge has a report saying that it will be out here in Japan and the US by the end of the year, by the end of 2013, but not until 2014 for Europe. This is a lot like what happened with Wii U, and it suggests that there might be supply constraints rather for PlayStation 4. It also suggests that it's important for Sony to get it out in their home territory of Japan and in the world's biggest market, the US, even though PlayStation actually is most successful in comparison to its competitors in Europe. So that's actually an interesting thing. Do you have any thought on that if you think that might be true? I think a worldwide release would be preferable, of course.
Of course. I think Sony, I think they would obviously prefer we would and they would prefer a worldwide release. But I think it's plausible only because of supply problems. Like, I have a feeling. So the way I see this timeline playing out is that Sony and Microsoft are going to be competing to release first. You know, I think we will see both of those consoles this year. And I think in order to accomplish that, you speed up the pipeline. Like, and I mean, if they have to sacrifice what they consider the smallest of the 3 territories or the lowest priority of the 3 territories, I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, and that would be a way to speed up the US and Japanese launch if they say, you know, normally we need X million, but now we're going to do X minus Y million. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I understand that.
I think it makes sense to hit their target in the places that they know they can hit, get it out, and then like a few months later have the European one.
Right. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Yeah. So you know, like I said, we'll be at the event on February 20th, which is a Wednesday in New York City. We don't know anything really about it right now. Again, my bet would be that we'll see the console, we'll see the controller. We won't get to play anything probably till E3, but I think we'll see games from both the first party and the third party as well. Just kind of maybe in a sizzle reel or something, show us what's going on, showing us what these games actually look like. In the meantime, this was a PlayStation Conversation. We'll have many more of these leading up to February 20th. You can keep it tuned to IGN for all your PlayStation 4 needs. Until next time, beyond.
Beyond.